Hi, I'm going to upload the image that I've changed in Inkscape into the design space. Now I've already imported it into here by doing a vector upload, so this is the one that's come in. Now when I insert it, sorry that I'm a bit slow because my computer's not the fastest. When I imported it, comes in at a size that is a bit too small. In order to get it to the approximate right size, what I did was I sized it to 36 inches wide. Now in order to do that, you've got to put your screen right down low so that you can actually see the 36 inches. Now I've got it at 50% here, and if I click on this and go to edit and I make the width 36 inches, you will see its height becomes 20.8. Now you can put this up now, and although the numbers are very tiny, you'll see that you can actually see the objects on the screen. Now the first thing you're going to have to do is ungroup everything, because I have the whole lot grouped. Now each thing individually will have also ungrouped. Now if I click on this particular one and I move it, you will see that the score lines, which are cut lines at the moment, are not grouped. Now I've put these in here because some of them need to have things done to them and some of them don't. This particular one doesn't have score lines, so all the ones that don't have score lines can just sit up the top and go here. You'll have to, don't worry about my colours, they were just something that I needed to make sure that I had done everything. Now this particular one, and in these ones you can see that these are little holes. When you bring the original file in, each of these need to be grouped again, because these are actual little hexagons and squares that go on top of the base image. Now where we can do a slice, but it does only one at a time, I've sliced all these images for you in Inkscape so that only one image comes in. This would have come in as 3 separate images. Now this particular one, I have forgotten to put the score lines in, so I'll show you how to do that first. And you go to insert images, and if you put in score and do a search, it'll come up with the free score line that is in design space, and it will pop onto our screen somewhere along here. But we just pick up that and we put it in where we need to and size it. Then I'll duplicate it and I'll take it to the other end. I'm going to duplicate that again. Duplicate, yes it did. Okay, now if I put my finger on shift and rotate it, it will rotate in 45-degree increments, and if I put it up into the right place, I can then pull out the bottom line and have that one in the right place. Now this is how you do the score lines in design space, and this will just do a straight score line because that's what it's come in as. Now I will select all of that and then just go attach, and it will attach itself to this particular one. And if we click on it again, you'll see that the object itself has come up to be attached to this, and this reads detached, so we can now put that one up the top. Now these ones here can just simply go up the top, they don't need scoring, and I'm just trying to get these out of the way. Now if you see when I move that, those little ones I've managed to put underneath this, so that's a bit of a bother. This one here has also got score lines, this one doesn't. Now you'll have to look at the PDF for the which is what, and that is not so hard to work out when you're looking at the PDF form. This is the top of a little knob, and again when I try and get these little ones, they're underneath, and these ones have been these ones have score lines, sorry, sometimes I forget my words. That's going to be a little bit more awkward to try and get them out. Now you can see this one's got score lines, and the score lines that are in here, when I've brought them in from Inkscape, are actually going to come up as cut lines. Now each of these you're going to have to pull out. So if I take that one, when I go over to here, you will find that these have turned grey. So anything that's associated with this object will turn grey in your layers panel. And all I have to do now is click this and turn it to a score line, and it's the little straight lines that make it easy on these ones to turn to score lines. And you'll see as I'm doing it that the little pieces down here highlight so that you know what you're doing. And now we've turned all that to score lines. We can now, guess you can do this before or afterwards, you can group that so that it all moves together, but I can just attach that now and it will all move together. Now I've done that without grouping it and just simply attaching it. Now this one is a different one again. Each of these little boxes, instead of doing individual little lines and rotating them, I did boxes. So if you come down again, you'll find that it's highlighted on this side. Now if we group this first, right, we're not going to lose the places of the boxes. So if you then go in, you can still click on these, and when you click on the boxes and turn them to score lines, you will find that they lose their colour, and that's fine. They don't need to be in a colour because otherwise they would cut on a different page. So that's fine. Now once that's all done, because I grouped it first, all I've got to do now is attach it, and it's all done. Now one of my objects that I've put in, I have made, and it is still got all its little pieces in, and this is how it would have imported into Design Space if I hadn't changed it. So if I click on this one, you'll see that this piece down here still has all these tiny little pieces in, and if you go down you'll see that there's lots and lots and lots of them. That's because these came in and I didn't take them out before I took them into Inkspace. Now when you've got these, each of these becomes a layer, so it becomes much harder for Design Space to actually cope with hundreds. In one case I had something like 500 little tiny pieces like this that were all theoretically individual layers. So what I do here is, if this happens, I then close the eyeballs on all of these, and for some reason when a dotted line comes in as a cut line, it comes in quite wide, as you can see on these. Now if I close the eyeballs on all these, I'll show you what I do. I know it's a bit of a mission, but I've got it to there now. Now if I'm just going to, oops, just take that one back, undo, because those score lines are very tiny. Well, they're actually still cut lines at the moment because we haven't changed them to score lines. I'm going to highlight this one, and it didn't highlight the whole lot. Come on, right, and I'm going to group that one so that I can get it out of the way to deal with it a bit later. And this one here I'm going to deal with now and show you how I deal with all those little pieces. And if I go down here again, you'll find this is highlighted in grey. Now if I choose this one, you can see that that has now highlighted down here. So I'm going to choose this and go score. Actually, it will be easier if I group this first. So I'm going to highlight it and group it, and as soon as it's grouped, when I click on it, I know exactly which ones I need to turn to score lines. And when I turn these to score lines, you will see, I just run that down, score. I'm sorry this is a bit boring with it being a bit slow on my computer, but now I've got all that, I can attach it. Right, now I'm going to move this because it is attached. I've got all those little bits out, and now I have to go back and find the ones that I closed the eyeballs on. And if I go back and find them, here we go, here's the start of them. Now as I undo these, you'll notice they come up in the same place as where I hid them from. And by doing that, and you can see that there's quite a few of these little tiny things because they were all dotted lines. Now all I've got to do now is carefully highlight all those and go delete, and I've taken out about 20 layers. So that gives you an idea of what you can do. Now as I said, each of these you can highlight them from the left sometimes to bring them in, and it just makes it a little bit easier to move them. If you group them first, then you can move this so that it's out of the way. These two here are going to be a little bit more difficult, and one of the things that you can do if you've got a difficulty like this, when you click on this one and click on this one and you can't take these ones out, is if you click on this one and move it, you'll find that it's difficult to move because you can't do it. So highlight your score line there, highlight, put your finger on your shift button and highlight the second one, then attach them, and that will then put the two of them together. Now the next time you click in here, you'll find that these two are attached. Put your finger on the shift button and then pick the outside one, and you'll find that way they are then you can attach them all, and then you've just got to find that, move it out, and then you can change these to score lines. Now that will make it a bit easier for you, I hope. Now I haven't done all of them, but I've done them so that you can see these ones have got tiny little areas to do. Just remember, as you can see here, this is the end of your page, so make sure when you're putting them all back and you want to print it, bring these over so that you're in here. This particular one here is your longest one, and it can't be longer than 11 and a half inches. So if you go to your edit, you'll find if you size it to 39, it's 11.49, and that should print out fine. If not, when you go select all, it will select the whole lot, and you can then group them as a whole group. But if you don't do that, they won't all group together. Now I'm hoping that that gives you enough on this to be able to work with it.